Okay, welcome. I believe everything is working right now. It's only my third time actually going live, so if you're with us tonight, really appreciate it. And before we get into tonight's guest, I guess the agenda for tonight, I did mention I wanted to bring up a couple of things that's on my, I guess, personal checklist that's not in a POH that maybe all pilots can even relate to or could relate to. So one thing that was, I guess, brought to my attention in the past, and I've always kind of kept in the back of my mind, is it's a good idea to actually have a before you leave the house checklist, and that can be tailored to you, whatever fits. It can be simple like sunglasses, charging batteries, just anything that is good for you that maybe you've forgotten in the past, just to really help make the flight more enjoyable. And then two more things here before we bring on Dan Gryder, our special guest here tonight, is just the simple fact of eating and drinking. It might sound kind of weird, but those are really important. I've had situations in the past where I was not prepared for a long trip, and that made a world of difference, not just being properly having proper sleep and all that jazz. So it's really important. Just want to mention that real quick before I bring on Dan here. And also, if we're just meeting, my name is Joshua Ryan Blair. I'm a private pilot for going on about 19 years, and I'm aircraft mechanic, but currently work as a turbo machinery technician, University of Notre Dame. So it's a little bit about me, but let's get right to it and bring on Dan. Looking forward to this. And here he is coming. Still trying to figure out this. Here we go. Welcome, Dan.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Really glad you are able to take a few minutes here and join us. And we're going to dive right into, you have a lot of information to provide about the AQP for General Aviation. And, we'd like to hear more. What is that? If viewers right now, either live or on the replay, are not, I guess, familiar at all, what can you tell us about just a simple question of what is it, I guess?
Yeah, I appreciate that. And always anxious to answer that question. I do a little bit of traveling, going to EAA groups and pilot clubs, things like that, to answer the same question. And the answer is that AQP stands for Advanced Qualification Program. It was developed by the airlines to answer a specific problem, whereas the same type accidents kept on happening over and over again. So pretty much everybody on your live stream here tonight most likely has taken the check ride. And the check ride always has a certain set of things that you have to do on the check ride for whatever you're doing. Doesn't really matter, helicopter or airship or fixed wing or whatever. You've got a book, normally called a PTS or an ACS, that has the maneuvers in it. So the airlines figured out that the things that were in the maneuvers book did not match the ways that the guys were bending up airliners. So they threw that book out the window and said, now we're going to give you a different check ride. It's one that we made up based on what we want you to do. So when you get to the airlines, they assume that you can do a steep turn and a short field landing. So those aren't really on the 747 check ride anymore. They put only the maneuvers on there based on what has been hurting airliners out in the field. So the concept still applies to general aviation, even though we're not airliners. We should take the rule book, and the airlines got permission from the FAA to throw away the ACS and to write their own playbook called AQP. Here's the oral and here's the maneuvers. So it makes a lot of sense. All I've done is written based on accidents. I've written the AQP curriculum and the maneuvers numbered 1 through 20 based on ways we bend up 172s every day.
I see. Well, that's good. That's very important because I know when I first heard about it myself, I really liked the idea because, I personally, like I said, I've been flying for 19 years and going back, I honestly, just to be transparent with you, I've not done much training since then. There's not, I fly for pleasure And I've taken, a few trips with family. I've actually did nothing. Well, I did fly once for a trip to deliver aircraft, but everything's been just private and or personal use. There's not been any training. Nothing's really shined the highlight of anything. So I really appreciate the effort behind it, and I think it's great. Honestly, I think it's really good.
Well, I appreciate it. And while you're on that subject, you've been flying for 19 years. Let's look at the effort that the FAA places on making sure that your medical is valid. If you even had a glitch in your blood pressure or blood sugar or diabetic, they would yank your medical. The integrity of the medical process is very high. And what about the airplane that you fly? Your airplane has to get an annual inspection signed off by somebody that has an IA credential. If you have nut inside your 172 that's not an FAA certified part, the whole thing is down. You're not flying. So they put tremendous effort on making sure both the medical condition of Joshua Ryan Blair and the airplane he's flying is totally impeccable. However, the skill set of Joshua Ryan Blair has gone 19 years without inspection. Is that true?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you do your biannual flight review every 2 years, but I mean, depending on how long you've been flying the plane, and honestly, how long you've known the instructor, and it could just be a routine thing. It could, personally, it's just a matter of touching on a handful of basics, and I mean, honestly, yeah, it's very minimal. I agree.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yep.
It's minimal.
Yep.
When you go get your airplane signed off for an annual, an inspector called an IA has to put his name in your book and certify that this aircraft is safe to return to service. And he signs it with his credential. He is signing off the airplane. When you go to your doctor to get your medical, that doctor is going to certify you for flight. When you do a flight review, it's your buddy, and you can go to get a hamburger, and he does not put an entry in your logbook that says, I certify that Joshua Ryan Blair is safe for flight. He just says, I flew with him for 1 hour. That's the only thing he has to make. Well, what does that mean? You flew with Joshua Ryan Blair for 1 hour. So what? What's Joshua Ryan Blair's skill set? He's been flying for 19 years. He hasn't been examined in 19 years. Is there anything that he's missing? We don't know. The biggest link in safety is missing. There's nothing there. And that's why the AQP thing should be a voluntary program. The voluntary benefit of doing AQP is that number one, you're going to help save on insurance and save our industry from some insurance problems that we've got. But the really big benefit of AQP is staying alive. That's a very large benefit, to not die in your airplane. I would think it's worth a little bit of effort. And me personally, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I don't have a product. I have nothing to sell you. I want you to know about this. I've developed it. It's all for free. It's voluntary. Take a few minutes and learn about the 20 ways to kill yourself and which of them might or might not apply to you, and go the extra mile. Go out and spend an extra hour with the flight instructor reviewing the 3 or 4 areas that could possibly hurt you. I mean, doesn't that make total sense?
Oh, I agree. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of things we invest in, and there's a lot of things, we spend our money on and time, unfortunately, that is completely useless. So something that could, save your life, and it's not just, your life's affected. I mean, your family's, it's huge. It goes beyond even yourself. And I think that, flying safe and, doing I guess, I'm trying to think of the word here, the recurrent training, or the I'm not coming up with the right word here, but basically to always continue to learn. I think that I think it actually helps you as a pilot on everyday trips, because it really affects your mindset. And also the enjoyment of the flight, I think, because, when you're more prepared and you have a successful flight, you're going to feel better, right? So I think it goes beyond even just the, don't die, which is the most important thing here, being here for your family and being able to live and, live life more than, a stupid mistake. So.
Yeah, well, that's the crazy thing about all these. On my website, dangryder.com, I've got the 2020, the year 2020, the year we just closed, the pandemic year. We had 188 general aviation fatals. So I've got all of those categorized and broken down into which category and which one had the most. And guess who the winner was? What category won first prize for most fatals out of the 188 general aviation fatals? Which one was the biggest category?
I'm not sure.
It's loss of speed awareness. 42 general aviation airplanes flying under day VFR conditions. Ironically, all 42 were day VFR that got too slow in the traffic pattern. Yeah, there's the right there. You can see on there 3 documents there. The PDF is an explanation, and then there's there's an Excel file. If you're an Excel guy, you can sort it, and then there's a really cool super sortable one, so you can sort all that stuff. Just click on that, and it opens it up, and it's really cool. But for sure, category number 12, I have on the board here. Number 7, 11, 12, and 17. Those are on my radar, but for sure, number 12, loss of speed awareness, is a huge chunk of the pie there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some Flight Chops videos. We've done all the stuff. Look at the Flight Chops videos. He did an excellent job. Aviation 101. I went to Texas. We've filmed an entire series. All that stuff is on there for free. Doesn't cost you a penny to look at it and absorb the material. And I don't care if you use it or not. It doesn't matter. I'd like to see us stay alive, but it doesn't affect me financially either way, whatever you do. I encourage you to take a look at it, and good information, and it's free. We're pilots. We're cheap. I'm speaking your language. This is free. I can't do any better than free.
Yeah, that's great. It's good stuff. Now, Dan, real quick, I forgot to ask you, there's actually a Word document that you previously provide. Would you like to see that? Is that like something you would like to kind of hit on, or is that just a note?
Yeah, did you get that?
Yeah, I did. Yep, it's right here.
All right, go ahead and pop that on the screen there. I just want to show you how we're doing. These are the April 2021 fatals. That's the end numbers and the state and how many people died. So this is a big deal. I haven't finished wrapping up April, my conclusion yet, but off the top of my head, I would say out of these 14 fatal general aviation accidents, probably all 14 were completely preventable with AQP. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. There's a couple factors in there, but 14 out of 14, I'll bet you, are going to be totally preventable. If they had known it was coming, if they were ready for it, they'd be alive today. Now, that's down from the NTSB industry average is a baseline of 1.0 fatal accidents per 100,000 hours. How many hours are we flying per month? We don't really know, but it basically translates to 19 fatals per month is what the NTSB considers acceptable, which translates to 31 dead bodies per month. They're satisfied at 1.0. They would like it to be below 1.0 is what they say, but they're not doing anything about it. They're not traveling to these sites. They're not investigating. As long as it hums along at 1.0, they're fine. So in the month of April, we're down to 14. We've actually been tracking really, really much better. January, February, March, April is the first third of the year. We're down significantly on both fatals and a number of lives lost. So we might be making a dent in this. I don't know. Okay. I don't know how many hours we're flying, but you can take any one of these end numbers, dump it into Catherine's report, and read the entire thing. And I encourage you to do that. If you've got any interest in airplanes, here's some part-time reading to do when you've got nothing to do. Pick an N number and read the report and see if you can figure out what happened. Most importantly, pick out what bucket it should go in. I call them buckets. What bucket should that N number fall in? So there's your April. April just closed. We're into May now. So those are your 14 fatals in the month of April. It includes, we had a couple agriculture accidents. That's not General Aviation Part 91. We also had a couple airplanes in Mexico and Bahamas, things like that, that don't get entered into here. So this is just continental U.S. Well, actually Alaska, Hawaii, and lower 48. Part 91, General Aviation. That's the thing I'm after. And a bulk of these are preventable. We could, seriously, if we put our heads together, we could get down to a GA accident being a rare occurrence. We could get it down to less than 10 a month easily. Okay.
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask you a question. What are you, obviously your goal, and you have a lot of passion for this, and I really appreciate that, bringing this to the spotlight. Is there, you said maybe like down to 10 a month. What is that? What would be a goal? I guess, is that your goal then, far as say like a year from now? I mean, obviously, can't guarantee it, but what are you shooting for like, say 12 months from now? What would be a big goal, I guess, of yours? Do you have a number maybe?
No, but I have a trend vector, and in all the big airliners I ever flew, they always had trend vectors. This thing has been humming along at 1.0 plus or minus for the past 20 years. We have not been able to leave the 1.0. I want to see this tip vector bend significantly down. I want to change our direction. I want it lower. I won't say where it's going to end up at. Obviously, my goal is 0. I don't think I'll ever achieve 0, but for sure, my published goal is 0. But I know we're not going to make it to 0, but that is my goal. But I do bend this vector. If you look at it on a timeline, I want to be able to say when Dan Gryder got involved in this thing in the year 2018, 2019, and 20, here's where it was at. And look at this vector. Over the next 5 years, this thing is definitely pulling down. It's 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6. Dan has bent this thing down. It's never been done before. I want this thing lowered, and that is definitely the goal.
Awesome. Good deal. Well, I'm looking forward to watching that as well. Is this something that you can put, or have you? I haven't looked at the page in detail as far as like this trend. Is there something that we could, as viewers, maybe even keep tabs on this as well? Or do you have this somewhere? Maybe I missed it. Because I think that'd be interesting to see as well. Like we could say, 6 and 12 months, from now, to kind of, in those that might be interested in watching it.
Yeah, that's I'm working with AvWeb right now. Paul Bertorelli.
Yep.
I won't discuss his ancestry. Paul and I have a love-hate relationship going on. Paul loves me and I hate him, and then it switches around. He hates me and I love him. But me and Bertorelli, we go back and forth. We're both skydivers. I'm pushing Paul to put this trend vector on the front page of AvWeb and have it real time, updated in real time. And here's the bottom line on this. I'm going to get hate mail over this, and everybody's going to tell me you can't put that data up there until NTSB has made a conclusion. That is not true. I'm not saying what caused the crash. I'm just saying that in the month of April, these were the crashes. That's not disputable. These are the N numbers. This is the state that they were in. And this is the number of people that died. How many airplane hulls did we lose, and how many people died? Just raw data. Doesn't matter who did it, whose fault it is, or what the problem was, or what the probable cause was. We'll wait on that. Are we bending less airplanes per month? I want that in a real time. I think AvWeb is going to stick that on the front of their deal for me so you can see it in real time. Bertorelli, if you're listening, this is the third time I've asked you for this. Let's get there. There's nothing wrong with posting that in the corner of the site and make it live in real time. I guarantee you my phone's going to ring when I hang up from here, and he's going to call me.
Well, I like it. I think it sounds good. I mean, that'd be great information to see. And then I think also it just gets you, myself as a pilot, it kind of helps keep you focused on, you know, learning and just always having that mindset. I think, when you're watching something, it's going to help you pay closer attention to things and, get after getting better, I think, as a pilot. So I think it'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't think of a downside for not posting how we're doing on a month by month basis. I keep up with them daily. I have literally a little. I don't know if you know very much about me, but I'm kind of archaic, basic. I do things with pen and paper and index cards. I have
Hmm.
index cards. I'm not very computerized. Um,
You got a fancy whiteboard now, though, so you
I do
stepped
have,
it up.
I do have the whiteboard here, and I know how to use it. But yeah, there's no real downside to publishing the real time data on how many airplanes we're losing on a daily basis, and I do keep up with them as they occur. Normally, as they occur, I got a phone call or a text, and somebody's already given me an N number. Most of the time, there's a pilot at the airport already sending me pictures of it. I know about it normally fairly quickly, if not within a day or so. But I keep up with stuff for sure on an official basis in my black book as they occur, and it's easy to do. If one
Hmm.
guy at a desk with a pencil can keep up with it, why? I mean, what's so hard about this?
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. I like it, Dan. Appreciate it. One thing I want to throw out there, maybe just kind of it relates to accidents, but it's not directly to the AQP, I guess, is what are your thoughts? I'm really curious to think, or I guess, to hear what you have to say as far as new pilots. I've noticed, like in some of the flight training groups and stuff, on social, that there's been comments that say a new student, all they want to do is put like 3 GoPros inside the 172 and they just want all the GoPro footage, but yet they don't even know how to land the airplane yet. What is your take on, I guess, two things? Um, your first thought of that, the student pilot using GoPros, and then also maybe the experienced pilot that wants to capture awesome footage. What are the risks or I guess involved that you would maybe have throw in there that to kind of consider? Do you have anything on that? Has that been discussed any far as in related to accidents? I'm just kind of curious.
Well, it has. It's been discussed a lot, and the whole YouTube phenomena thing with the advent of GoPro cameras, it's come along a lot. You know, I'm keeping up with about 130 aviation YouTube channels, and some of them put stuff in their airplanes. As far as students doing, I don't really see a downside to that if it's done carefully and if it's done properly. The only flip side to that is you got the old adage that says, "Watch my, hold my beer, watch this." As soon as you get a camera involved, you might start doing some stuff that you wouldn't normally do if you didn't have the camera rolling. So you just got to be really careful. And, we just lost a pair of YouTube out in Arizona flying their Cessna 140, going out to do a photo shoot, and apparently got it over their heads and lost the airplane and fatal crash out there. I'm not sure if you saw the story, but uh,
Yeah, I kind of knew them fairly well. Yeah, yeah, the couple. It was pretty shocking. It was unfortunate, very unfortunate situation.
yeah. So I mean, it's always a deal. It doesn't really matter though if it's uh, bareback horse racing or rodeos or car racing or boat racing. When you get a camera involved, there's always some risk there. I don't do much airplane myself. I'm probably going to
Mhm.
start a little bit, but I think I can, me personally, be able to compartmentalize and let the camera run, do my thing,
Yep.
see what you got after you get the airplane parked and tied down.
Yep, exactly. That's what I was going to say actually is, SD card space is cheap, I mean, just get a big SD card, turn it on and just let it go. You can always delete later and have your primary focus on flying the airplane and just sort through that later. You can skim through it and get to what you want. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but This is a phenomenon. The YouTube thing, and YouTube. This would be a good time to mention our ACA's Aviation Content Creator Awards. We started that last year and had a fantastic last July, 30 YouTubers together. This year we've got about 50 YouTubers coming with an air show. Everybody's invited. If you're a pilot with an airplane, free camping, free parking, and a whole bunch of Patey's and Clemenses have got together to give away a whole bunch of Patey products, best tugs, tug products. You have to be to win, and that's a cool thing to do. But free parking, free showers, restrooms. If you want to come in and camp with us, that's the weekend prior to AirVenture. Party with us on the ramp, live band Saturday night. Come in and have some fun. All your favorite YouTubers are going to be there, and I'll be there with my trombone. If you can't find me, just listen for the trombone, and you'll be able to find me quickly.
Awesome. Sounds good. Sounds like a good time. I'll definitely plan on being there myself. Nothing happens. Looking forward to it. The second annual event. It's going to be great. Looking forward to getting back to Oshkosh again now after, unfortunately, a year off, and should be a great time to reconnect for sure.
You betcha. You betcha.
Okay. All right, Dan. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I appreciate the viewers that had a chance to join us live, and if you're in the replay, thank you for watching as well. You can drop in the comment if you have any other questions. Perhaps we can get to those later. We'd love to hear those. And until next time, fly safe, and just be blessed. And we'll see you in the next one. And Dan, if you have any last words, now's your time. And again, I appreciate your time.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
Okay. See you guys. Thanks again.